did you do?
What's going on, everybody? I'm Jaren, voice teacher, speech trainer, and founder and owner of the Yebba Studio. And in this video, we're going to analyze somebody who I've been asked for a lot. Y'all have asked for her for probably since I started this channel a couple years ago, and I started analyzing people about what, a year and a half ago. Y'all have been asking for this girl, and so I said, you know what, I'm gonna give y'all what y'all asked for. I'm telling y'all, read them comments, and so I'm gonna adhere to this. So we're gonna analyze Yebba. So when y'all initially asked for this song, I really didn't know what it was about or anything like that. I kept seeing the video pop up like in recommended videos, but I don't think I've ever clicked on it. And so when I finally saw that this is the video you guys were requesting, I said, oh, this is it. So without further ado, let's listen to Yebba sing My Mind. That was pretty nice. So she kind of did a run up. I don't even call it a run up. I would call it more of a step up. She kind of did some nice jumps with some intervals. It wasn't necessarily like a stepwise run or a scale. It was a little more of like jumps, kind of like intervals. But she went up and then came back down, which is not easy to do. And she did it really well.
I heard you coming at 2:45. You closed the door and lay down next to me. But then I heard you say her name in your sleep. Your dirty secrets too far gone to keep.
What I'm noticing about this already is that there is a different tone, a different color to her voice than what I've heard her do in the past. One of my favorite songs of Yebba's is one of her latest singles called Distance. I listen to the song a lot when I'm working, I'm driving in the car, things like that, from at Starbucks, things like that. But this has a totally different tone than Distance. There is a different color to her voice. It's almost a heaviness, probably because of what the song is about. There's almost a heaviness to her timbre and to her voice that is very different than what I've heard her do in other places. And so this is very intentional what she's doing in terms of how she's coloring her voice to really convey the context of the song. This song is not one of them happy-go-lucky songs, obviously, so she's really giving a little more angst in this song with how she's coloring it. There's almost a darkness, and the darkness is almost coming from a little bit of the tongue position and a little bit of how she's shaping the words here. And even in the strength behind her singing, there is a warm / raw presence to this tone that she has with this song that I think really works for the context of the song.
I'm about to lose my
that was very clean. Ooh, that was very clean. And what she did right there, she switched registration. She went from more of a chestier, light, kind of medium light chestier registration to more of a light, headier registration, but she switched between those notes that she jumped up on. And even how she's singing this stuff, there is a lot more straight notes in this than what I'm used to her doing as well. Her vibrato is in there, but it's intentionally placed, it's purposefully placed within all these notes that she's doing. But what she's doing here is really painting the context of the song, and this is resulting in straight tones. There's an angst, there's a rawness, there is a vulnerability in straight tones sometimes that she's exhibiting here. Singing straight tones is not that easy either, because it requires a certain level of thought, a certain level of control that some people tend to not like to use. I should say it like that. People are, oh, straight tones sound weird. No, straight tones is a sign of control. If you think about it for real, it's a sign of control and a sign of discipline, vocal discipline, and she's exhibiting that while she's singing.
I'm about to lose my mind.
this. That I just like that part. So she said, my mind. There's a little slide in there. So then she said, my mind. So she migrated the vowel a little more darker when she ended the second my mind, or whichever one that was, the my mind, my mind. So she kind of brought the articulation more closed, used her tongue to really maneuver how she wanted that part to sound. And if you notice, her vibrato was showing to be a little quicker in speed in some parts than others. That's another sign of that angst, that pain in the song, that kind of that stuff that you feel when you sing in a song like this. You really being vulnerable in these songs, and so she's really showing that and how she's exhibiting and presenting her voice in this way.
My mind, my mind.
Did you hear her change it? Did you hear her change that timbre a little bit right there?
I think about you all the time.
So right there on that kind of that wail, if you will, she literally wailed. So it's kind of a more of a beltier, more thicker fold, beefier wail than she brought it back. But it was still a chest voice. She didn't switch registrations. She's really giving you some texture and some layers to the presentation of this song. So it's not just pretty Yebba singing pretty music. This is telling a story. And that's what a lot of your listeners want to hear, is a story within the song. There is an emotion behind every song, a thought, some kind of concept behind every song, and we want to hear the concept of the song within the vocal presentation of the artist when it comes to singers and things like that, you know?
You can't even look me dead in the eyes. Her love is strong, she got you hypnotized.
Hypnotized. So she chewed that vowel. Hypnotized. Instead of hypnotized. Hypnotized. She went to the second part of the diphthong within that word. Hypnotize. Diphthong is basically two vowels together within a word. So when you say day, night, wait. So in that song, hypnotize, right? So instead of saying hypnotize, she said hypnotize. Once again, giving that angst, almost a craziness to the song in terms of like, I'm about to lose my mind. She says that in the song, I'm about to lose my mind. And you're seeing that and you're hearing that. And if you notice, that audience is mesmerized. You know, most concerts, people like bopping, you know, they kind of getting with you. The audience is like this. These are one of those songs you don't really move to and like, yeah, this is killing. Like, you really are just listening. You're in the moment. You're experiencing. You're feeling this song with the artist, with those on stage, you know?
You say you love me, but I know it's a lie. When I work so hard to keep you satisfied.
So right there, she got a little distortion in her voice. She probably brought the false vocal folds together just a little bit. I wouldn't actually call it a squall more than just, I don't know what I would call it, but I won't call it a squall. It's just more of a kind of a distortion on the voice right there. I think the distortion came from the air pressure that she was using. She kind of pushed a little bit right there. And so sometimes when you push, subglottal air pressure just means air under the glottis, air under the voice. The glottis is where the vocal folds meet. Under the glottis, subglottal air pressure, right? So if you're pushing a little bit too much, that sound can come as a result in some cases. And she may have wanted that angst, that power, that right behind her voice with that distortion that she used. It was nicely placed, and you notice she's even kind of leaning in. She's using her body for support and really leaning in to what she's doing right here. And she got bigger, she got louder, her mouth got more wide, she got a little more aggressive, I'll say, with the song. And I know there's a story behind this song and how she released it and things like that. And so I'm sure all of those emotions are within her presentation right now and how she's singing it in this video, you know?
I'm about to lose my...
there, to me, in this song, there is a level of authenticity and connectivity, if I can say it like that, that some people lack because they're so worried about being perfect instead of being in the moment. Like I say in some of my videos, I prefer some of the raw, unadulterated singing that just comes from, you know, just being there in a moment, flat-footed, in your face singing. There's a magic in that experience that you don't get when you're so worried about being perfect and being right. Of course, be clean. Of course, you know, put your best foot forward. But perfection is not in human nature. So striving for perfection vocally is a dead end. It really is just a dead end. So strive for your best self in your singing, or being in a moment when you're singing. Don't strive for perfection. There is no perfection in humanity. There's no perfection. God is perfect. We ain't perfect. So we can't be what we not. We cannot strive to be and actually attain perfection. We can strive to be better and strive to be, but we cannot attain perfection. So don't worry about being perfect. Just worry about being in the moment. You know, also make sure you sing the right notes and things like that. I always tell people, technique is the insurance of your gift. Technique is the insurance of your gift. Your technique does not validate your gift. Your gift was already validated when it was put inside of you. So there's no validation to be had. The technique is just the insurance of, I can use my gift in the best way possible. She uses her technique to really convey the context and the words and the lyrics and the thought behind this song that she's really, to me, exhibiting pretty well.
I'm about to lose my mind.
So right there, how she changed that, my mind. So she almost dropped her larynx. Oh, kind of like she yawned a little bit in there. And the yawn is changing the timbre of her voice. It's almost like the throat is opening up real wide. And, oh, you know, so then that is changing the timbre of her voice to make those runs when she goes to my mind. It gives you different colors and different little textures because she's using her resonance to really shape the sound.
My mind, about to lose my.
I'm gonna say one more thing. I know I keep stopping, y'all. I know I keep stopping. But I wanted to say this too. When you sing lower notes, don't feel like you have to punch and really dig into those lower notes. Let the mic do its job. These mics are invented to amplify. We give the mic acoustic energy, and the acoustic energy is turned into electrical energy through the speakers, and the speakers amplify the sound throughout the room. So I am not going to overdo and push and dig for these low notes when the mic can pick me up. I can put the mic back and forth, things like that, but the mic's gonna pick me up, so don't try to push those low notes. And if they're too low for you, they're too low for you. There ain't nothing you can do about them being too low or whatever the case may be. But the last thing you wanna do is push, because then going higher into the song or whatever you're trying to do is gonna be harder to do. You notice when she kept doing those those notes right there down at the bottom during like the beginning of the verses, she didn't push. They were hardly honestly there. It worked. You know, it kind of worked for what she was trying to do. So don't push them low notes. Just sing them. Let the mic do its job. If the mic don't pick you up, that is not your fault. You did your job. You sung. That's it.
My mind, my mind, about to lose my.
Yodel in there, little glottal pop yodel thing in there when she came down off of that run of the it was almost like a classical trill, kind of like what I talked about with Layla Hathaway in her video. It was almost like a classical trill yodel type thing right there, and so she kind of used that to really give that long note right there something different to the ear, you know?
How could you do this to me?
And if you notice in those runs, she said, hey, hey, yeah, hey, hey, which further proves the concept of within each note in the run, in between each note in the run, there is a little spurt of air in between each note. So that's why some people put H's in front of each note of a run sometimes, because that's the air is kind of more of a present aspirate thing in between each note. So it's not a bad thing to put those H's in there. She's doing that on purpose because that's how she wants to shape the run, you know? So it's not a bad thing to put those in at all.
No way, she can't take you away from me. I sure won't stay, but I'll be damned if I ever leave. No way, she won't take you away from me. Ooh, I sure won't stay, but I'll be damned if I ever leave. If I ever leave. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
That was a little church, just a little bit. Anybody know what I'm talking about? That was just a little church right there. So I talked about this concept before, the whole tongue root thing. So when she's kind of doing the more breathy, intimate, low volume chest voice thing, there is something going on with that tongue. Everly, and then she kind of does something else that kind of comes off of it, but there's something going on with the little tongue root, maybe a little tongue root within her presentation that's making her kind of sound like that, or maybe not. It's what I'm hearing, may not be true, but I mean, it's not a bad thing, it's just what I think I'm hearing, you know?
No way, she can't take you away from me, yeah. No way, and I sure won't stay, but I'll be damned if I ever leave.
So she came from a little more squall this time, a little more distortion, and she's kind of keeping that in there with the body support, and then she kind of came from Evelyn. She came from that Liam. That kind of stuff is so okay. It is an artistic nuance that you can do. You can come off a word and kind of get into a hum. She's moaning at this point. She's like, bruh, nah, I ain't doing that. You know, she's kind of really giving like, nah, you know? So that's how she wanted to shape this part of the song and how she wanted to kind of set the tone with the other person who she's talking to within the song, if you will.
In my mind, I think about you all the time. My mind, you'll always be mine. I know. That's that one.
There you go. If you have more requests, put them in the comments below. I promise you I'm listening to them and I'm reading them and I'm trying to get to them all, but I love all the new ideas, so please put them in the comments below and let me know. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe down below and click the alert button next to it so you know when the next video is posted. As I always say, be vocally bold, creative, and aware, but most of all, be vocally you. All right, y'all.